During the interview, the reporter asked me, "Kathy's new show has a lot of intimate scenes with the male lead. What do you think about that?" I smiled casually. "That's sweet." The reporter was stunned and then continued, "Do you think this will affect your relationship with Kathy? I mean, she never took romantic roles before." "No, it won't." "Why?" "Because we've already divorced." The interview went viral and my phone was ringing off the hook. Kathy's voice came through, holding back anger. "When did we get divorced? Why didn't I know?" I knocked on the hotel door with the divorce agreement. Now, Kathy and Jason's marriage trouble. Kathy and Frank. Frank the homewrecker. The interview took over the top 3 spots on trending lists. My phone was almost blowing up too. I turned on Do Not Disturb and laid back in the van to rest. Next to me, a video of Kathy and Frank's intimate scene was playing on a tablet. Emily, my manager, was shocked. "You guys got divorced? When did that happen?" I kept it brief. She cheated. Emily instantly got what I meant. She turned off the tablet and the car was quiet, except for my heavy breathing. She sighed, trying to comfort me but couldn't find the words. "You and Kathy were together for 7 years. Everyone knew how much you loved each other. You were a celebrity couple. Is there some kind of misunderstanding?" I didn't answer, just rolled down the window and let the cold wind in. "Just last night, I got word of Kathy and Frank checking into a hotel together. I was hurt for a long time, heartbroken to the point where I was shaking. So I had the divorce papers drafted overnight. Being together for 7 years makes betrayal even more unforgivable." I rushed to the hotel and dialed Kathy's number. Her voice, panicked yet holding back anger, came from the other end. "Jason, what are you doing? When did we get divorced? Why didn't I know?" She only uses my full name when she's really mad. Last time was when I threw wine in Frank's face. Now I was knocking on her door. The door opened and Kathy stood there with her phone. We locked eyes. She was wearing nothing but a hotel robe, showing her collarbone. Her expression was a mix of irritation and a bit of guilt. "What are you doing here?" I ignored her, walked into the room, and threw the divorce papers on the table. "Sign them." Kathy flipped through them casually and tossed them on the sofa, seemingly amused. She grabbed some of her hair in frustration. "Just because of the intimate scenes with Frank? Isn't that normal?" "Jason, I'm really tired. Can you stop being unreasonable?" "Kathy," I said, lowering my gaze and taking a deep breath. "Not doing intimate scenes was something we agreed on when we got married." Kathy was always possessive. She would either have scripts with kiss scenes rejected or force directors to change them. There was once a scene where the actress kissed my cheek spontaneously due to the atmosphere. The next day she was replaced and disappeared from the spotlight. Kathy was always obsessive. But now, for another man, she broke our agreement. She gave Frank special privileges, which was enough to prove her change of heart. Kathy's expression turned sour but quickly recovered with a smile. She came over, hugged my waist, and nibbled on my earlobe. "This time is an exception. I won't take those roles anymore, okay? As for the divorce, I don't want to hear it again, all right?" I was about to push her away when a cheerful male voice interrupted. "Kathy, the bathroom's faucet seems broken." "Jason, what are you doing here?" Frank stood there in casual clothes, scratching his head, awkwardly smiling and trying to explain. "Kathy and I, we're not what you think." Kathy instinctively picked up the jacket from the sofa, ready to give it to Frank. I quickly took out my camera, snapped a few photos of them. "Sign the papers or I'll release the photos." Top actor caught cheating with rising star, busted in hotel overnight. How does that headline sound? Kathy clicked her tongue in annoyance, trying to explain. "Frank drank too much at the celebration dinner last night, so I brought him to the hotel. Nothing happened between us." I ignored her weak excuses, speaking slowly and clearly. Last 3 seconds. Kathy grabbed the divorce agreement from the sofa and signed it quickly, tossing it at me. "Is that enough? Have you had your fun?" I nodded, picked up the agreement, and was about to leave. She suddenly spoke up from behind me, her voice full of helplessness. "Jason, you weren't like this before. When did you become so unreasonable?" I paused. I remembered the first time I met Frank. Kathy said the same thing. Frank was a newcomer signed by the company. He looked a bit like me. At first, Kathy wasn't impressed. She'd cling to me, saying, "My husband is one of a kind. That guy, he's not even close." She always said she didn't like Frank riding on my coattails. When Frank copied my style, she'd say it was a cheap imitation, just for show. When Frank copied my hairstyle, she'd call it tacky and ridiculous. But even she didn't notice that she mentioned Frank more often in front of me. A supposedly unimportant guy started appearing in our conversations. She'd even jokingly mention during meals, "Frank doesn't like cilantro either, what a baby." But how did she know Frank didn't like cilantro unless they ate together? I got a bit mad and tossed my chopsticks on the table. Enough already, why's Frank always popping up in conversation? "Kathy, do you have a thing for him?" She hurried to show her loyalty, deleting Frank's contact right in front of me. But a few days later, at a business party, Frank was pulled into drinking by the investors. Kathy cracked one of their heads right open in front of everyone. Ignoring my pale face beside her, she put her arm around Frank's shoulders, speaking with a darkened expression. "Our company's artists don't provide escort services." For some air, I left for the restroom. When I came back, Kathy brought Frank with a swollen cheek in front of me, sounding annoyed. "If you're mad, take it out on me. Why'd you hit him? Jason, since when did you become this unreasonable?" That night, Kathy didn't come home. After a few days of the silent treatment, she showed up with unique jewelry from an overseas auction to make up for it. "Don't be mad, babe. It's just that looking at him made me think of you from a few years ago, working so hard, and I lost my mind for a moment," she said. She couldn't protect the me from 7 years ago, so she's trying to protect Frank now. Kathy put the jewelry on me and took time off work to be with me at home for quite a while. I smiled at her again, and she thought it was all water under the bridge. What she didn't know was I had found Frank's secret account. It had records of their 3-day vacation. The way Kathy and I met was pretty dramatic. Back then, I was just a small-time extra. She was a rich girl defying her family's plans to chase her dreams in showbiz. Her parents were determined to challenge and break her. They cut off her cards and even set obstacles in her way. Our first meeting was on the street at dawn. I just finished a night shoot. On my way home, I bought a sausage to fill up. Suddenly, I felt a strong gaze on me. I turned around and met eyes glowing green from a nearby alley. I bought Kathy a sausage. We sat side by side on the street, and she told me she was also chasing her acting dreams here. We talked the night away, feeling a deep connection. Every night after that, we'd meet there and chat about life as extras. Over time, we developed feelings for each other. We moved in together in a tiny rented place, in a room filled with the smell of oil and mold. On a creaky iron bed, we passionately intertwined over and over. Those 3 years, we chased our dreams together. We leaned on each other, supporting one another step by step to create our own world. The night Kathy won the Best Newcomer Award, she finally earned her parents' recognition and support. That's when she told me who she really was. I was upset by her deception and wouldn't let her in. To apologize, she stood outside in the pouring rain all night and ended up with a high fever, passing out and ending up in the hospital. The first thing she did when she woke up was struggle out of bed to find me. I softened. She gave me a grand wedding and publicly acknowledged me during her career peak, giving me everything she could. Everyone said I had hit the jackpot. Over time, even Kathy believed it. She slowly forgot those 3 tough years we spent in that less than 200 square foot, damp and moldy room. Leaving the hotel, I checked my phone. The trending topic calling Frank a homewrecker had been taken down. Kathy posted a clarification. "No divorce here, just a husband throwing a fit. He's being pacified." Comments flooded in, praising Kathy and criticizing me. What's the big deal about a close scene? Jason's possessiveness is just scary, isn't it? Kathy's been loyal on screen for years. Is he lacking love or something? Jason's a total embarrassment. He should be content with a wife like her. He even has a problem with her acting. Some people, even when they luck out, are still just sparrows, not high class. Normally, Kathy would have deleted these negative comments much earlier. But maybe this time she wanted to teach me a lesson. Not only did she leave them, but she also liked some of them. An assistant was on the phone trying to get my team to do damage control. I was exhausted, so I dozed off in the back of the van. When I woke up, it was almost midnight. I had a bunch of unread messages. Just as I was going to check them, Kathy called. "Jason, where are you? Why didn't you come home tonight?" I didn't respond. The line was silent for a few seconds. I thought I heard Kathy's breathing quicken. She sighed. "Jason, you don't really think we can divorce just because of that agreement, do you? It was just for fun and you know it. Come home. Okay?" Kathy was right. It wasn't easy to divorce her. That agreement was just paper to her, a game she played with a pouting pet. I calmly said, "Kathy, you don't actually believe there's a future for us, do you?" The divorce papers were useless, but they showed my stance. There was no going back. Even if it got ugly, this marriage was ending. Kathy chuckled coldly, her voice lazy yet meaningful. "Jason, don't joke around like this. You know what happens when you make me mad." I heard Kathy tapping on the table, a sound that echoed ominously in the quiet night. She was truly angry now. I smirked, chuckling softly. "Let's see about that." Before she could respond, I hung up. My reflection in the window showed disheveled hair and a weary face. This was the last time I'd let bad people and relationships trouble me. I knew how low Kathy could stoop when she was mad. But I wasn't afraid. I'd never bow down. I would be the one smiling at the end of this battle. Kathy's retaliation was quick. A major role I was set to lead in an epic historical drama was given to Frank. Frank was all the rage lately, following a similar path to mine, and with Kathy's pressure, the director didn't say much. Kathy showed up on the first day of shooting. She was an investor, so nobody in the crew dared to slight her. She was showered with sunshades, fans, and Starbucks. During breaks, Frank sat comfortably next to Kathy, chatting openly about his acting experience. Kathy responded absent-mindedly, her gaze piercing through the crowd to find me. I didn't pay attention. I was in the corridor reading the script, while my assistant fanned me, asking, "Isn't Kathy here to see you? Why aren't you sitting by her? Come on, you're married, no need to act distant, right?" There was a seat next to Kathy, and the assistant didn't know about our situation. He thought she was just visiting. I knew she was offering an olive branch, but if she really meant to patch things up, would she let Frank sit so close to her? Plus, she had taken my lead role. Using work to threaten me was beyond unforgivable. Seeing my frustration, Kathy ordered her assistant, "The plum juice Frank likes. Make sure everyone on set gets some." The crew kept praising their relationship, leaving Frank blushing. His lashes fluttered as he looked at me and said, "Don't say that. Jason's still here, you know?" That reminded everyone of my rightful place, and they all fell silent. The set's atmosphere turned awkward, and it hit a peak of awkwardness when the next scene started shooting. This scene was a big moment. The main character catches the supporting actor being the villain and slaps him hard during a confrontation. The director wanted the slap to be intense. I quickly got into character, glaring at Frank with resentment and mocked, "So what if you know it was me now? What can you do?" Before I even finished my lines, Frank raised his hand and slapped me hard enough to make me stumble back a few steps. My face visibly swelled and reddened. Frank, looking flustered, teared up and bit his lower lip. "Sorry, Jason. You were just acting so well. I couldn't hold back." Once the director called cut, the assistant hurriedly brought over an ice pack for my face. Shooting a harsh glance at Frank, "Since you've slapped him, at least finish the scene." I didn't make a big deal out of it, just dabbed on some powder and signaled the director to continue. After that, Frank kept messing up, forgetting lines or went off script, leading to him slapping me 6 more times. My cheek tingled, and I could taste a hint of rusty blood mixed with saliva as I swallowed, making my chest feel sore and bloated. Frank, trying to look pitiful, mumbled, "Sorry, Jason. You're a real pro. I'm new here, and it takes me a while to get into character." The director awkwardly chuckled. In his eyes, I was married to the main sponsor, and Frank was rumored to be her new fling. He couldn't afford to upset either of us. The director suggested maybe we should shoot another scene first. This one might need some changes. Kathy, who had been silent until now, cleared her throat. She caught my eye, arching a brow. I knew she was waiting for me to back down. I looked away and turned to the director. Continue. The director glimpsed at Kathy's stern expression and cautiously asked, "How about we fake it and avoid real slaps?" After a few seconds of silence, Kathy softly but firmly said, "No need." The director sighed with relief and was about to continue when Kathy added, "No need to fake it. Jason is very professional. Surely he wouldn't resort to unprofessional methods." Her comment put me on a pedestal. I suddenly remembered hearing how Frank previously got slapped on set by another actor and cried his eyes out. Kathy had rushed backstage to defend him, demanding he slap back. She had told me similar words when a director slapped me for not getting into character enough. That night, as she gingerly rolled a hot egg over my cheek, she promised, "Don't worry, Jason, soon. I'll make sure you get to slap back." She later ensured that actor never worked in the industry again. Recalling this made my chest tighten with a familiar ache as I tried calming my breathing. "It's okay, Jason. You don't need her to get your own back. It's just a matter of time." Just like now, when Frank used another excuse about forgetting lines and slapped me yet again. At that moment, the sound of sharp heels echoed closer, followed by a chilly voice. Who let this nobody near my leading role? It was William, the boss behind this show. First year back from studying abroad, he made a name with 2 hit dramas. Known as a tyrant in the industry, hardly anyone dared cross him. Today, I banked on him showing up after wrapping up his overseas business, and I was right. I relaxed, nodding respectfully and letting him see my half-swollen face. His anger flared. He slammed down a stack of papers on the table. Who gave the go-ahead for favoritism in my cast? Silence followed, all eyes darting to Kathy. Frank, shamed, teared up, shrinking behind her. Kathy stood, adjusted her attire, extending a hand to William. "Long time, William." William narrowed his eyes, sneering. "Kathy, are we that close?" Though both were high society, William openly dismissed her, which caught her off guard. Kathy hesitated with a frozen smile. "Master William, I'm backing this project." He picked up a paper, scanning it briefly before tossing it in Frank's face. $5 million from Kathy. "Huh, you think it's impressive? You think a little cash gets your squeeze in my show?" And then, eyeing Frank with clear disdain, "And he's a second-rate choice at that." "Kathy, I don't care for your scandals, but my set's no dumping ground. Ease off your investment and take your boy elsewhere." Frank was replaced. He got a public dressing down and was banned from receiving any scripts from William. I rinsed ointment on my face, William's direct order for his assistant to send over. "Feeling smug now, Jason?" Frank barked through clenched teeth. "Think being close to William makes you special? I may not be the lead, but slapping you was absolutely worth it." "Frank," I started. The dressing room was empty. I sighed, setting the ointment aside. His expression showed disbelief, followed by a scoff. "So what?" I stood, slipping the lock. Lucky there were no cameras. In an instant, before he grasped the situation, I grabbed his hair, slapping him back with full force. I didn't hold back. Each slap echoed loudly, leaving red welts across his face. I was taller than him. He didn't stand a chance against me. Soon, his face was a swollen mess, nose bleeding. Stopping, my hand throbbed in pain. 10 slaps, I'm paying you back." Frank was holding his face, fumbling as he questioned me. "Jason, are you shameless? You're cheating. I only slapped you 8 times. I was getting tired." Took a sip of water. "Remember that slap at the party when you framed me?" Frank rolled his eyes and argued. "Even then, that's just 9. Buy one, get one free. Such a deal, right?" I acted like I was going to raise my hand. "Are you leaving or what?" Frank couldn't beat me and dared not mess with me anymore. He glared at me, holding his face as he opened the door, only to run into Kathy. Seeing her, Frank acted like he found a savior, whining while pointing at me. "Kathy, Jason hit me because he's jealous you protect me." Kathy frowned, pulled Frank up, and shoved him out, then stepped inside and closed the door swiftly. Seeing me, her gaze softened. "Jason, does it hurt?" Kathy raised her hand as if to touch my face, but I dodged it. Her hand froze mid-air. She wasn't embarrassed, just had a complex look in her eyes. She sighed, "Jason, you've turned bad, starting to calculate against me now." I smirked. "Right back at you. Why have you become so stubborn? Is it so hard to just bow your head? Back then if you had just looked at me, even just a glance, I would have had Frank pack up and leave immediately." "Funny." I raised an eyebrow. "Did it make a difference?" "I didn't look at you. He left anyway, right?" Kathy paused. She looked up and scanned me from head to toe with her eyes. After a while, sounding a bit hoarse, she said, "Jason, you've changed. You weren't like this before." The old Jason never argued with Kathy. When wronged, he'd jump into her arms, demanding she avenge him. But now, Jason was like a leopard with claws, ready to scratch her face bloody at any moment. "Kathy, you've changed." I sighed subtly, glancing out the window. "You say I'm stubborn." The old Kathy wouldn't have allowed anyone the chance to hurt me. Kathy clenched her hand. Her indifferent pupils shook suddenly. "Jason, it's not what you think." She sounded a bit helpless. "What do I have to do for you to believe that Frank and I are innocent?" I raised an eyebrow, my tone playful. "Sign over all your shares and give me lots of money. Then I'll believe you and won't divorce. How's that?" Kathy's face changed instantly. "Jason, you're with me for money." "Huh? Did you ever really love me?" Just as I thought, the same nasty response. Not wanting to tangle more, I opened the dressing room door. "Kathy, throw any low tricks you got. I'll be here for it all. Regardless, I'm set on this divorce." Kathy and I ended on a sour note. Emily, on hearing what happened on set, was fuming. "What an arrogant prick. Seriously, a piece of work." She played the video for me that I arranged to have recorded before shooting. Captured Frank being a jerk perfectly. "You want to release this now? I'll call to spread it around." "No need," I raised a hand to stop her. "It's not the right time yet. I want this video to have the maximum effect." I focused on acting on set. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kathy seemed riled up, blatantly taking Frank to parties. Without the lead role for Frank, she hooked him up with bigger gigs and endorsements. She even ditched her schedule to take him to Turkey for a hot air balloon ride. The next time I saw Kathy was when the behind the scenes of my first on-screen kiss with the lead actress went viral. It was my on-screen debut kiss. Jason's kiss is on point. Love to see more. Kissed like that, how can you not feel anything? Their ears must be burning. That night, after showering, the doorbell rang. It was Kathy. I opened the door with a smile. "What's up, Kathy? Decided to agree to the divorce?" Kathy clenched her jaw, her mouth tensing. She tossed her bag to the floor, stepped right up, and grabbed the back of my head. A flurry of kisses fell. She was desperate. Realizing what was happening, I pushed her away, but not before she bit my lip in defiance. In 7 years together, she knew every spot of mine too well. Just one move could make my whole body go weak. Warm breath mixed with alcohol fumes in my ear. Jason, whose kissing was better, hers or mine? I slapped her hard, disgustedly wiping my lips with a tissue. "What's wrong with you, Kathy? Get help if you're sick. Don't come here drunk and crazy." Kathy rubbed her jaw, leaned on the couch, and tugged me closer. "Is your anger gone now? Jason, stop this. Remember all those early days you intentionally got close to me? I won't hold it against you, okay? Let's go back to how we used to be." Through the years, quite a few people told Kathy that during those first 3 years of hardship, I had it all planned. That I had figured out her identity, decided to stick around for her wealth and power. At first, Kathy would defend me. But over time, she started to believe it too, frequently questioning me. "How come that day you just happened to be by the road to see me? Why did you agree to date me as soon as I confessed? What do you like about me at all? If I weren't a wealthy heiress, would you still have stayed with me?" The continuous high-paced shooting left me utterly exhausted. Being questioned continuously got on my nerves, and I became less inclined to deal with it anymore. Later, Kathy stopped asking, but the issue became a knot in her heart, tightening to the point it couldn't be undone. I lowered my head, just enough to catch a glimpse of Kathy's soft hair, with a tiny tuft standing up. I used to love poking her little cowlick, thinking it was something uniquely cute about Kathy. But now, even at this angle, the scratch marks on her neck are clear. There's even a faint hint of Frank's favorite perfume lingering around. I stepped back, trying to talk things over. Kathy looked up, her eyes filled with hope. Could you just die? If you die, I won't leave you. I'll stay with you forever if you don't kick me out. All right? Jason. Kathy's expression was fiery, scolding me in a low voice, her fingers tapping the sofa. Is this really how you want to talk to me? How else am I supposed to talk? I asked, frustration boiling over as I tossed a pillow at her face. You just got back from Frank's, still have lipstick on your neck, and have the nerve to tell me this. Can you just go to hell? Kathy's face changed as she tried to wipe off the marks on her neck. Let me explain. Die first, then explain it in your will, okay? I said, grabbing her scarf and pushing her toward the door. Kathy stumbled, grabbing the door frame, her face illuminated by the hallway light, flickering. She pulled out her phone, dialing the film award committee. Jason's award goes to Frank. For this award, I had endured freezing water chutes multiple times during winter, nearly passing out from the pain. Emily had assured me it was a guaranteed win this time. But with Kathy's one call, 7 years of effort vanished into thin air. My hands shook, tears welling up uncontrollably as I looked at her, feeling helpless and shattered. Kathy seemed pleased with my reaction, tapping the door firmly. Jason, you need to realize how you reached this point, who helped you along the way. In frustration, I swatted a ceramic doll off the shoe cabinet, smashing it at Kathy's feet. It was a doll we painted together on the sly at a fair back then. Even with disguises, we eventually got spotted. Clutching this doll, she pulled me along in a carefree sprint. We had sat together on a roaring motorcycle, scenery blurring by, cheers swallowed by the wind. Kathy had shouted, Jason, what's your dream? Best actor. I want to be the best actor. I want to reach that point on my own, step by step. She stopped the bike, took off my helmet, and kissed me. I believe you can do it. But now, Kathy's hands have destroyed my dream. On award day, news of my wins spread like wildfire on social media. Fans flooded the plaza with murals celebrating my success. Autumn winds whipped around, rallying for my anticipated victory. Flashbulbs snapped towards my face. Fellow artists offered early congrats. I watched Kathy's silhouette from the front row, my palms sweating. Everyone expected the award to land in my hands. As they announced the winner, I prepared to stand, my smile poised, tears of joy on edge, until the spotlight hit Frank. Let's hear it for Frank. After a stunned silence, the room exploded in applause, and my forced smile got immortalized and shared online. Frank accepted, dabbing his eyes. I never expected this award, surrounded by others like Jason. Honestly, Jason deserves this more, and I believe he'll take the stage next year. Such blatant insincerity. Fans argued bitterly online. Where's Jason's cheering section now? Weren't they just bragging about him being best actor? Why didn't he accept it? Too proud? Didn't you see Jason's face? Looked like he was about to burst into tears. Serves him right for being so cocky. This is Frank's award, and he deserved it. Saw Kathy and Frank at a party recently. My theory about them is real. Frank knows exactly how he got that award. Kathy shared a promotional video, captioned, "Though heartbroken for my husband, Frank truly earned this." Even amidst chaos, Kathy maintains her caring image facade. Social media exploded, headlines blazing with my name. Every post had a viral tag. Taking a deep breath, I seized my opportunity. I reshared Kathy's post with 7 years of love, and I still lost the bet. Attached were hotel shots of Kathy and Frank, footage of Frank's poor behavior on set, and Kathy's voice recording at my door, stating, Jason's award goes to Frank. She thought there were no cameras at my place? Originally hoping for a smooth split, I never expected such betrayal, even robbing me of my recognition. Kathy and I are getting divorced. No forgiveness, no negotiation, no looking back. The post set off a storm. Fans flocked to Frank and Kathy's pages, condemning them. Even the film award committee faced backlash as a joke. Kathy's public persona crumbled, exposing their party photos and behind-the-scenes footage. Even the company's stock suffered, with people angrily buying and returning their products. Traffic surged, and a committee member reached out, admitting a mistake and offering compensation. I ignored it while Emily liked critiques with her backup account. Finally felt justified. She was the one who cheated during the marriage. Why handle things peacefully? Expose her charade. She was always pretending to be affectionate online. I glanced at the internet, and sure enough, there were still plenty of folks blaming me, saying I handled things poorly and didn't take a good look at myself. I don't care, really. I'll take any comment. After all, a series I'm starring in is about to air soon. This is all just publicity, and it's why I chose today to spill the tea. That night, Emily and I headed to my priciest property. We plopped down by the floor-to-ceiling windows, poured ourselves 2 glasses of wine, and admired the city lights over the river. This place is prime real estate, smack dab in the city center. Never thought I'd be living this high up. When I was 8, my parents took me out to the mountains to pick some fruit. But when I climbed down from the tree, they were gone. I was taken in by an old lady in the village, but she passed away after about 3 years. I ended up growing up with the occasional help of neighbors, getting by meal to meal. The village chief once told me my folks didn't abandon me. They just got lost and would come back for me. I wondered, how would they ever find me? Once I got into high school, I went into the city. That's when I noticed those star-filled posters everywhere. They were dazzling, impossible to ignore. It struck me. What if becoming a celebrity, appearing on every corner, was the way for my parents to find me? But as I grew up, I realized the truth: they were never coming back, because I was tossed aside long ago. Now, as I climb higher, it's not for them. It's for me. Emily, a bit tipsy, started talking about love. When I was younger, I met a guy, she said. Took me 3 years to find out he was married. That taught me a hard lesson. It almost broke me. I thought you and Kathy were perfect, you'd make it to the end, but that wasn't the case. Jason, do you have any regrets considering how much you invested? I chuckled and raised my glass. Sunk costs don't factor into big decisions. To hell with love. Cheers to career, cheers to me. You misunderstand, Emily said. With Frank, it was a moment of weakness. You asked for a divorce. I was angry, got drunk, and made a mistake. There was nothing more to it. I've been at odds with you because someone told me you only got with me for my money, that you never loved me. I believed it, used Frank to push your buttons. My phone was ringing off the hook with calls from Kathy. I wasn't answering, and she couldn't find me. Things got so messy it impacted my business. Kathy's parents even flew in from overseas to handle the fallout. You have to believe me, she pleaded over the phone. I never liked Frank. He reminded me so much of you during those years, that's why I wanted to help him, just like I did for you back then. In those days, I had no resources, no connections. I was bullied and suppressed. Kathy, drawn to how much Frank resembled me, became his support, giving him the best resources to soar. But I struggled through adversity to get where I am. How could he be like me? It's my fault, Kathy said, her voice cracking. I let you down. You say I'm your greatest love, but both then and now, I've wronged you. Jason, all I ever wanted was to be worthy. If I didn't have the courage to fight back, all this would have ended quietly. I'd be Kathy's husband, and Frank, her lover. Maybe what she can't let go of isn't me, but the time we had in that little apartment. Time flew by, and in just 2 months my drama went straight to the top. My on-screen chemistry with the lead girl hit #1. Frank got cancelled everywhere after the scandal. I heard he tried to make a comeback, reached out to his former connections but got shown the door. As for Kathy, she wasn't doing well. To escape her and unwind, I took the entire team abroad for a month. Kathy, unable to find me, turned to drinking. I heard it got so bad she ended up in the hospital with a gastric perforation. The day I returned, Kathy's mom came to see me. Honestly, I didn't have much memory of my mother-in-law, except for her handing me the family heirloom at our wedding. She never really liked me, probably because Kathy had a perfect match lined up before I came along. I slid the bracelet off and placed it on the table in front of her. She didn't take it instead, took a sip from her coffee and said, back when we accepted Kathy's decision to enter showbiz, you weren't included in that acceptance. I admit staying with her through tough times wasn't easy, but Kathy was born with a silver spoon, and you didn't deserve her. She went on, yet she chose you, forgoing her inheritance, enduring a beating from her dad, kneeling in the rain overnight. Kathy has bad knees now, always aches when it rains. I used to worry and ask her why, but she'd just joke, saying the pain was worth it to have her husband care. I know this isn't about regretting our relationship. It's about her mother's love. But what's that to me? Was my sincerity all fake? What do you want me to do with this information? I asked. It doesn't change her betrayal. We can't go back, and her persistence will only exhaust whatever feelings are left. I'd rather leave the country than see her again. An awkward silence hung for a few seconds. Kathy's mom suddenly sneered, revealing her phone, speaker on. Heard that? Kathy had been quietly listening all along. Why cling to someone who doesn't want to see you? Her mom said, end things and let's go abroad with your dad. She stormed out angrily. I tapped my mug. The coffee had gone cold. I'm not sure if Kathy ever knew she was willing to give up everything to be with me, just like I didn't know either. She was proud and didn't want to ask for help, so she offended the investors. To help her land the role that won her the Best Newcomer award, I begged the investors for a long time and downed several bottles of strong liquor. On the way back, I was crying and throwing up. I got sick. The high-intensity work made me ignore the changes in my body. After I got checked out at the hospital, I acted as if nothing was wrong and went home. Kathy never knew how much I sacrificed for her career. After that day, Kathy finally agreed to the divorce. She offered me a ton of money, and I didn't refuse since it was what I deserved. Kathy couldn't make it in the industry here. The company was handed over to her dad's confidants, and she was taken abroad by her parents to develop her career. Before leaving, Kathy said she'd always wait for me. I won't change my phone number. If you ever forgive me, I'll come back to you anytime. I just stared at the string of zeros in my bank account and ignored her. Kathy gave a small, self-deprecating laugh, her eyes lowering with a hint of tears. Jason, could you come to the airport to see me off tomorrow? Of course, I wasn't going to see her off. I didn't want to waste my time. Kathy left, looking rather lonely. In the rearview mirror, her figure stretched farther and farther away. I had a secret I never told Kathy. She was right, I was with her all this time because she had money and status. My head's perfectly fine. I can barely manage myself, let alone play out some romantic tragedy in a rundown apartment. In that damp room, every breath smelled like mold, mixed with the scent of public restrooms. The squeaky metal bed collapsed twice. I was long tired of this life, though it might have been a novel experience for Kathy, who grew up in luxury. But for me, it was a miserable life I were fighting desperately to escape. At first, I was genuinely in love with her, all in pure love. But that love was long defeated by reality. To hell with love. It can't fill my stomach. Just as I was about to end things, I heard Kathy talking to her mom on the phone. I got it, Mom. Give me 2 more years, and if I still don't make it, I'll come back and inherit the company. Okay? I paused before pressing the door handle. I figured this was a big gamble. Luckily, I gambled right.